The movie begins in a hospital for cancer treatment and starts with Sam. Every day, the patients gather and talk about their dreams, what they wish to achieve, and then it's Sam's turn. She keeps talking about her dreams, and Sam is suffering from muscle cancer. Her condition was very serious, to the point that she could die at any moment. After that, she meets the nurse Robin, who tells her he is organizing a trip for the patients, and they will go to the puppet theater in the city. For a change of scenery, Sam agrees to go with them, because she hasn't left the hospital for a long time. The first thing she does is take her cat, change her clothes, and put a medical patch on her stomach to relieve the pain of cancer. They all board the bus and leave. Within an hour, they all arrive at the place. Sam enters to watch the show that is playing but quickly feels bored. She leaves the theater, so she leaves them, and enters the supermarket to buy chocolate. As soon as she returns to the theater, Robin tells her there is a disaster. They must return to the hospital immediately, because the hospital director called him multiple times. She asks him what is happening and asks him to reassure her. He tells her that chaos has erupted in the city, and no one understands the cause. Sam tells him, "I want to go to the pizza restaurant nearby here, because I really crave eating there. Before I got cancer, I used to eat there all the time." Robin tells her there is no time for this conversation, and they must return to the hospital immediately. Sam gets upset but is forced to get on the bus with the patients. While on their way to the hospital, the bus stops due to traffic. At that moment, Sam sees strange objects, similar to meteors, falling from the sky and destroying the city. She gets off the bus and finds the place full of fog. Everyone is confused, not understanding what is happening. She sees a man in front of her calling for his wife. Suddenly, a strange creature appears, dragging him to the ground and killing him. Sam is in shock, and starts running quickly. A soldier stops her and tells her not to move from her place. She asks him, "What is happening? I don't understand." He tells her, "There are monsters in the city." Before he can finish his sentence, a monster attacks him and kills him too. Sam runs to hide next to an old woman, trying to comprehend what is happening. Suddenly, a monster approaches her but doesn't attack. She realizes that the monsters attack anyone who makes a sound. A man comes and tells her to run quickly, but before he can finish his sentence, the monster kills him. Sam starts running, trying to save herself. The problem is that an ambulance arrives, and its alarm causes chaos in the area. Within seconds, the monsters attack the ambulance and completely destroy it. Sam falls to the ground from the force of the explosion and loses consciousness. When she wakes up, she feels very tired and wants to cough, but someone named Henry stops her by covering her mouth and signaling for her not to make any sound at all. She moves quietly and finds herself in the puppet theater. The entire city is hiding in this place because of the monsters. Of course, no one there makes any noise. Coincidentally, she sees the nurse Robin, who hugs her and is happy she is alive, because he was very worried about her. He makes her sit down to calm her down and gives her her cat. A while later, they hear the sound of an American military airplane. The pilot speaks through a microphone, asking all city residents to hide and remain silent, because if they make any noise, the monsters will kill them without hesitation. He also reassures them that reinforcements are on the way, and the army will come to rescue them. At that moment, the cat hears the sound of the monsters in the street, gets very scared, and runs away. Sam tries to catch it and finds it moving towards the door. The problem is that it touches a bell that makes a loud sound. One of the monsters hears the bell's sound, and breaks into the place. Sam quickly hides and doesn't make a sound. At that moment, the monster approaches Robin, but it cannot see, only hear. Fortunately, Robin makes no sound, and the monster leaves. After that, Sam goes to the bathroom to clean herself up. By chance, she finds the medical patch on her stomach has come off. She becomes very anxious because now she will suffer more pain, and has no painkillers to ease it. She enters a room in the theater, where someone is listening to the news on the radio. She hears the army asking people to stay away from bridges and overpasses, and hide in places far from the monsters. Suddenly, Sam hears a loud noise. She quickly goes to the rooftop with the other people to see what is happening. They see military planes firing missiles at the bridges to isolate the city and prevent the monsters from reaching other cities. This means they are now trapped inside the city. One of the people is shocked and says they are now trapped and will die here. Before he can continue speaking, Henry rushes to silence him by covering his mouth. The man gets even more frustrated and tries to scream, but Henry chokes him to prevent any sound from coming out. Unfortunately, the man dies in the process. Henry cries because he did not intend to kill him. Meanwhile, Sam is sitting with Robin when the power goes out. The biggest problem is that the power generator turns on by itself and makes a loud noise. Robin runs to turn it off quickly. Sam follows him to check on him, but suddenly, a monster appears from behind and kills him. Sam breaks down in tears because he was her only friend. She is forced to stay alone, feeling extremely sick. Knowing that her cancer is in its final stages, realizing she will die either way, she decides to go eat pizza and enjoy her last moments. She leaves the theater, walking without making a sound. On her way, she enters a supermarket and takes a lot of food. She walks with her cat, until she reaches a fountain, where she sits to rest and eat. Her poor cat sees two hungry children, so she goes to give them food. Suddenly, she hears military planes speaking through the microphone, stating that the monster's weakness is water, and instructing the residents to head to the southern port, where rescue boats will evacuate them from the city. Sam decides to help the children get to the port. While walking, she sees the residents heading south. She tells the children to go with them, then leaves and walks away. She goes in the opposite direction, because she knows she will die either from the monsters or from cancer. So, she doesn't need to leave at all. She insists on eating pizza and enjoying her time before she dies. However, the problem is that the people were making noise because of their bags and the wheels of carts. Sam feels anxious because the monsters could arrive at any moment due to the noise. Indeed, within seconds, monsters appear from all directions, killing and attacking people. The more people scream, the more monsters come. And indeed, within seconds, monsters arrive from every direction because of that sound and start attacking people, killing them continuously. People scream in terror, and the more they scream, the more monsters appear. Due to the chaos, a car explodes in front of Sam, making her fall to the ground. Her cat gets scared, runs away, and leaves her behind. Sam hides under a car, but someone grabs her by the leg and keeps screaming. A monster suddenly appears behind him and kills him. Sam's leg gets stuck under the car, and she wants to scream as loud as she can from the pain, but she can't. After great struggle, she finally manages to free herself. She starts searching for her cat everywhere, but unfortunately, she can't find it. She enters a narrow alley to hide and catch her breath. Meanwhile, the cat is in a nearby street, drinking water. Suddenly, a young man named Eric emerges from the water. It turns out he was hiding from the monsters underwater because he knows they hate water. After that, her cat finds her again, and Eric follows the cat, eventually spotting Sam. She signals him to go with the people heading to the port to board a rescue boat. However, Eric follows her and refuses to leave her alone. Sam tries to communicate with him in sign language, asking him to stay away and leave her alone. While walking together, they notice that it's starting to rain. Sam observes the loud sounds caused by the rain hitting the cars. Despite the noise, no monsters appear in the area. She realizes that water is the monster's weakness. She then speaks to Eric in a very low voice, telling him there are rescue boats, and he should go now. But he refuses, afraid the monsters will attack him on the way. He asks her to let him stay with her so he doesn't feel lonely. Sam sympathizes with him and agrees. Later, they head to Sam's old house to spend the night until morning. But the door is locked, and they have to break it, which would make noise and attract the monsters. They wait for the right moment, then break the door. As soon as Sam enters, she starts looking for any medicine to ease her pain. She is suffering so much that she starts crying from the pain, but unfortunately, she finds no medicine. She tries to hide her pain from Eric and talks to him, asking about his family. He tells her, "I live alone here in America, while my family is in England." She tells him to go to the port because the rescue boats might actually save him. Otherwise, staying here will kill him. But he refuses as usual and asks, "Why do you want to send me to the port? Why don't you go yourself?" She replies, "I want to go to a pizza restaurant in the city center. I must eat there before I die." Then she reveals the truth. "You don't know that I have cancer, and it's in its final stages. I only have a few days left to live. So even if I escape from here, it won't make a difference." Eric feels deeply for her and tells her he will stay with her and take her to the restaurant. The next morning, Sam wakes up feeling extremely weak. She sees Eric still sleeping and takes the opportunity to leave with her cat, hoping to force him to leave on his own. While walking, she comes across a bookstore and starts browsing the books. Suddenly, Eric appears behind her, insisting on going with her. As she moves, she accidentally drops a book, making a loud noise. To her horror, the monsters hear the sound and appear. She grabs Eric, and they rush into a building to hide. But the door won't open because a bag is stuck in it. Eric forcefully kicks the door open, but the bag makes a loud noise, attracting the monsters. They quickly run and escape from the building. Then Eric comes up with an idea, breaking car windows in the street to distract the monsters. His plan works. The monsters rush towards the cars, allowing them to escape and enter the subway station. There, they are shocked to find a monster descending the stairs. They try not to make any noise so the monsters won't notice them, moving as silently as possible through the station. They finally reach the train platform, only to find it flooded with water due to the rain. They enter the water since the monsters won't approach them there, moving quietly. Suddenly, they see a monster standing on the ceiling, moving. Eric is terrified and nearly cries in fear. Sam calms him down, telling him she is with him and won't abandon him. By mistake, Eric makes a sound in the water. The monster hears it and jumps down, chasing them. They swim away as fast as they can, and just when the monster is about to grab them, it drowns and dies. They quickly climb out of the water and find themselves in a church. But Sam starts feeling very weak and can barely move, because she hasn't taken her painkillers. Eric asks her to write down the name of the medicine so he can get it for her. He heads outside, carefully walking until he finds a pharmacy. Luckily, he finds the painkiller, but suddenly hears movement nearby. He panics, thinking it's a monster, but it turns out to be Sam's cat. He picks up the cat and leaves the pharmacy. While walking, the cat suddenly runs away toward an abandoned, burning building. Eric is forced to enter the building to retrieve the cat. There, he is shocked to find many monsters. It's their nest, where they lay their eggs. A monster approaches him, and he realizes that these creatures don't have eyes. He stands still, making no sound, hoping they won't detect him. Once the monster moves away, he grabs the cat and escapes. He returns to the church and gives Sam her painkillers. She is overjoyed and can't believe he risked his life for her. She shares some memories with him. "My dad used to take me to that pizza restaurant. Whenever I go there, I remember him." Eric understands that she doesn't just want pizza. She wants to relive the memories of her father. He asks, "Is your father still alive?" She replies, "Unfortunately, he died from the same illness I have." Eric promises to take her to the restaurant. The next day, they finally arrive, only to find it burned down. Sam sits down and cries, heartbroken that her dream was crushed. Eric hugs her, trying to comfort her. Later, he surprises her with a pizza box he found inside the restaurant. She eats the pizza happily, remembering her father. After eating, she looks very weak. Eric tries to cheer her up with card tricks. They then climb a building and see the rescue boats at the port. Sam drops her jacket, looks at Eric, and starts crying. She clearly wants him to leave so he won't die. He tells her, "I will leave, but only if you come with me on the same boat." She agrees, wanting to save his life. They head toward the port carefully. However, they find many monsters surrounding the area. Sam gives Eric her cat and tells him to run. She then starts smashing car windows to create noise and distract the monsters, giving Eric a chance to escape. People on a rescue boat witness this and stop the boat to wait for him. Eric gathers his courage and runs. Unfortunately, he trips over metal, making noise, and the monsters chase him. He sprints onto the bridge, with monsters right behind him. Just as they are about to catch him, he jumps into the sea, safe because water is their weakness. Sam smiles, knowing she saved him. Eric swims to the boat, where people help him aboard. Crying, he realizes he left Sam behind. Later, Sam walks alone through the city, listening to music through her headphones. She removes the headphones, letting the loud sound play. Monsters arrive from everywhere and kill her. The film ends with this scene. Most importantly, see you in the next movie.